Hi everybody, it is Friday, July 14th, 2023. Happy Bastille Day to everyone. Um, so let's just get going. It's Friday and I've got stuff I got to get done before this shows up on your feeds at 4:30 in the afternoon, my time. Remember, I am a psychic, so everything is for entertainment purposes only. Full disclaimers down in the box. Let's just get to it. Uh, there's still more and more stuff coming up uh, about what was left behind in the White House 4th of July weekend. Okay, and it's now up to this is the third or fourth time that something like nose candy or a non-tobacco smokable has been found in the White House, and all this since 2021. This is like supposed to be the most secure building in the nation. Who's bringing all this crap in there? Somebody that doesn't have to be searched, I guess. So, what, a family member or Cammy Poo and her entourage? Somebody did report that they found a baggie containing something outside of her car. Maybe she dropped it. Maybe that's why she's so incomprehensible all the time. Now to get on some other stuff. The Indo-Pacific group is now has gotten together and has approached Nato so they can have a coalition. And this, I'm referring to something I talked about the other day that, yeah, the Big Red Sea is eyeballing all those Indo-Pacific island countries because they have natural access to natural resources that the Big Red Sea doesn't have. And right now the Big Red Sea is trying to hold everybody hostage because they're not exporting some of those raw materials that are needed for the climate goofs. Want everyone in electric cars. Computerized. You're not driving a car, you're driving a computer. So the raw materials that are needed for the computers that people drive around with 4 tires. Yeah, the Big Red Sea is stopping the export. Remember, if you're driving a computer and like what I'm using right now and what people are walking around with in their hand, these things, they're computers. The government can shut these down faster than a New York minute. So, people, remember, like I said, get a landline phone. It has its own independent power source, not voice over internet. Get a true landline phone. You may need to have your doctor write a note for it, but get one. Before I get to the other nonsense, yeah, it's a warm, sunny day here. The Midwest has had some wonky weather. I mean, Wednesday, after I got off chatting with everybody, I did turn the regular antenna TV on. Yes, 12 documented tornadoes in northern Illinois. I mean, the area that is east of I-39, north of I-80. Yeah, it was pretty nasty out. It was like quite a while. I heard the sirens going off repeatedly. And for sirens in the city to go off, that's a rarity. Normally, they only set those off is when somebody wins the World Series. Okay, and yeah, extreme weather. Yes, Southern Europe is getting really slammed. I guess it's above 40 degrees Celsius, which means it's above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Just a trick, people. You got to stay hydrated. And if you're eating fresh fruit, sprinkle a little bit of salt on it. Not only does it make the fruit sweeter, But you need the salt to stay hydrated and keep your electrolyte levels balanced, especially for people who are not accustomed to extreme heat. And the other thing, if you can get it in the grocery store, I mean, you don't have to buy this brand, but what it is cornstarch. Some people call it corn flour. So in extreme heat, instead of using talcum powder or like something baby powder, use this stuff because it's not harmful to your body. I mean, you can ingest this. You can use this to thicken gravy and so forth. And making lemon meringue pie, you need it. But the cornstarch is actually, ladies, you can even use it as a translucent face powder. It is better for you and it will help your skin from chafing. So it's a needed item, especially in this hot weather. Just powder yourself down. Gentlemen, powder your lower regions with it to prevent any chafing. Ladies, underneath our bra straps. It's needed, okay? Now for the stuff that's been... Two things have been all over the news. India's Prime Minister Modi is still in France. They're celebrating Bastille. He's celebrating Bastille Day with the French. But we also know he's there on a shopping trip, trying to get military vehicles. Okay? The rest of it, we know the Indo-Pacific group is dealing with the NATO stuff. Well, something that is happening, we saw that Jojo and the Z guy are like hanging out together like they're best pals. In my eyes, it raises a lot of red flags. A ton of red flags. It's like they're going to put, first off, they're going to try and put the blue and yellow flag country on the fast track to be able to join NATO. Now, Jojo and the Z guy are making speeches like, "Oh yeah, it's like we need to declare it a victory for the for the blue and yellow flag country." But other reports I'm hearing is that the portions of land, that area, the population in those areas that are under Vlad's control, the people want to stay under Vlad's guardianship. They don't want to go back to being under the dictatorial thumb of the Z guy. They want to stay with Vlad. And the Z guy just can't handle it because it's a blow to his little ego. Well, he is a short little poop. Yeah, I wish I could call him what I really think of him, but I like my channel. But even that's that section that has been, that they've been having snit fits about. A lot of those people want to stay as, they want their nationality to be Russian. They don't like being under control of the Z guy. And even that idiot General David Petraeus, I mean, the fool that really dropped the ball in Afghanistan, he's saying that different countries are interfering with the Z guy's victory. I mean, he even claims that Australia goes into stuff, and it goes in, what did he use the term? Australia punches above its weight class. I mean, that is a highly disparaging, derogatory comment to make about the Australian Armed Forces. I mean, this guy needs to have his military pension cut off. He needs to be dishonorably discharged and all his military rank and medals stripped off of him. I mean, Petraeus and Jojo, I mean, they are so, they're making it such an effort to destroy America and all the other countries that are sick and tired of this nonsense going on caused by the Z guy. I mean, what's going on? It's ridiculous. I mean, the Z guy is mumbling around that he's canceled $39 billion of student debt. He can give tons of money to Z, but he doesn't have money for basic necessities of real American citizens. Yeah. He'll give away the money to other countries to make him look good. Well, he has to do something to look good because he's a complete walking disaster. I mean, different sources are saying that the DNC is trying to figure a way to get Jojo out, but then they also have to figure out a way to, I mean, Cammy Poo is another walking disaster. I mean, did anyone hear her definition of AI? I mean, she claims to be like, oh, I'm a transportation czar. I thought that Pete Butthead was the Secretary of Transportation. But Cammy Poop is nothing but another patronizing idiot. Jojo's insulting. Jojo's a total embarrassment. And in the areas that Jojo forgets to make a total embarrassment mess out of, Cammy Poo steps in and does it for him. She's doing such a good job at being a vice president. So yeah, if they be careful, people, because the rumblings are they're going to somehow get rid of Jojo. Have Cammy Poo move up into 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and then appoint Gavin Newbrain as the VP. Then all of a sudden, Cammy Poo may have to resign because she has to go to visit the Betty Ford Clinic, which means Gavin No Brain would be in charge of the country, heaven forbid. We all see how bad California is. We know that certain big cities like Seattle, Chicago, New York, Detroit, practically the entire state of Michigan is a goner. We have to stay alert to all this nonsense going on. And yeah, right now, Illinois Senator Dickwad Durbin is over in England. And that he went to, Pritzker's going to England. Pugsley Putzker, the governor of Illinois. The Senator Dickwad is over at Nato. It's embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. I mean, some of the other nonsense that's going on, make sure you start reading labels on everything, including your toothpaste tube, because the World Health Organization is now finally announcing that aspartame can cause cancer. Well, when it was first introduced, I tried it once in something, a beverage, and I ended up getting a migraine headache and I was vomiting for hours. So I knew, okay, that new artificial sweetener, not for me. So if that's the kind of reaction I got, it must be harmful and toxic. So people start reading labels, because I am having to do research to find a toothpaste that doesn't have an artificial sweetener in it. Basically, it's like pulling out the baking soda and the bottle of hydrogen peroxide and just basically mixing it together and add a little bit of Listerine to it. So, yeah, be careful. I mean, there's already stinks going on in the UK because we know the NHS is a mess. Well, now what they call junior doctor, we in the States call resident. Well, now the residents / junior doctors are now saying, we're not going to work for the NHS. We're going into private practice. So right now, yeah, there may be a lot of people vacationing here in the States so they can get medical treatment. I mean, they have tourism for plastic cosmetic surgery. Now they're going to have tourism for major medical issues. Well, at least the UK government then has to cough up the cash to pay for it if they're coming here. Not like the wetbacks that come across the border and you're getting free everything that's coming out of our tax dollars. The people that have to come over from the UK for medical stuff, we know that the UK government is paying the bill. So, hey, people, if you have friends and you have to make connections, yeah. People coming over to visit, yeah, and if something happens, oh yeah, take them to the nearest emergency room. And if it's that necessary, allow their visit to stay longer so they can get the medical treatment they need in a matter of days or weeks versus years. Yeah. We got to start doing that for our friends across the pond. And even in Italy, they have made the announcement that the city of Venice, that northeast region of Italy, is now facing a major doctor shortage. Yeah, because a lot of the guys are retiring, and there isn't any young blood here. Excuse the noise, the window is open and the landscapers are outside doing their thing. Yeah, in Venice, there's a big shortage of doctors. Well, part of the issue is because during the faux plague, a lot of people lost their licenses to work because they refused to acknowledge the WHO's doctrine. If you weren't following what the WHO and the WEF's mandates, actually demands, you lost your license to practice medicine. So, yeah, pretty bad out there. If you're able to find a decent doctor or know a kid who's in medical school, help them out as much as possible, because we do have a shortage of doctors basically worldwide, all because they wouldn't follow and accept the worldwide Mengele experiment. Now, we are going to be watching a big walking disaster because of this NATO stuff and the stuff that's going on and being still, those doctrines are still being put out by, well, now it's NATO combined with the WHO and WEF. Yeah, there's something more that's going to explode quickly, because it's all they're going to blame it on Jojo, because Jojo's the most incompetent, and he can't remember one thing to another. I mean, the things that are going to come rolling out and it be exposed because of Jojo's native speech. I mean, besides the non-tobacco stuff and the nose candy, we know that there's going to be more coming out because certain people like to engage in physical acts with very young humans. And what's going to be the downfall is, now I have a feeling that some young bank employee is going to release a file, a wire transfer file of monies from one country directly into the bank account of a certain family that Jojo is part of. It's going to get real nasty in the next few months with this. Really, really nasty. I mean, already major places are kicking back against this DNC stuff. I mean, right now there's it's not really on the news. They're not really talking about it. But down in Georgia, you see this burn, loot, and murder crew guy? He was elected mayor of the town South Fulton. Well, he claims to have gone into this lake house because he thought it was abandoned. Well, in reality, this mayor, I mean, the house was not abandoned because the owner of the house got the notification on his personal communication device that something happened. An silent alarm went off because somebody had gotten into his lake house through ill-gotten means. Turns out to be the mayor of South Fulton. He goes by the name of Khalid Kamau. So yeah, the mayor was arrested for burglary, criminal trespass. Now he's out on bail. But, dude, anybody who has anything, has everything under video, has a video watchdog. I wonder how many days he's going to have to sit in county jail. The BLM is going to try and come up with an excuse, or if he's even sentenced. I think he did that because they needed a new excuse to RPE, plunder and pillage. Go on another wild activation, wild spree like that's going on in France right now. It's been let's see, they went bonkers in 2020, so yeah, it's about right. They need to start going bonkers again before people start lining up for the job interview to go live at 1600 Pennsylvania. One thing that I am supporting is the Chi Omega sorority. Now, we've all seen the pictures, hopefully. They have officially kicked out the transvestite. If you could read, a sorority is for women only. Real women, with the reproductive organs. Yeah, that can make babies. I mean, yeah, they need to be fertilized by a guy, or the actual baby making machines. So, he's been kicked out of the sorority, and now they're doing it because the sorority chooses to keep women safe. And now all these transvestites are saying it's a violation of their equal rights. Well, excuse me. Don't women have equal rights that they don't want to be in private places having to being viewed at by a transvestite? If they don't want to have a transvestite looking at them in the nude, they shouldn't have to. Especially in a locker room where a transvestite who's over the age of 18 is looking at girls under the age of 18? Yeah. I mean, they need to have, I counted, to make everybody happy, they'd have to have a women's locker room for under 18s, over 18s, men's locker rooms for under, over, and then a transvestite locker room. And then, so 5, 6 locker rooms at every place, make everybody happy. But in order to protect, and a family locker room, that's the 6th one, in order to keep women and children safe from these transvestites. I mean, a guy who's like 50 who dresses as a woman going into a locker room so he can oogle women who are naked changing is disgusting. Totally disgusting. And some of the pictures you can see that something is very erect. So, transvite is supposed not to get excited by the sight of a naked woman. Yeah. It's not good. Now, for the Henry and Rachel fans, yeah, we know they didn't get their Emmy nomination. Well, hey, maybe they submitted it in the wrong category instead of documentary series. They should have put it into the fiction mini limited series limited series for fiction. Yeah, it's a wonderful piece of fiction. And of course, now the rumor also has is that Ari Emanuel has canceled the contract that he had with Rachel. Yeah, because she didn't get the Emmy nod. And supposedly they spent a chunk of change on the PR to get her nominated. But they say, "Oh, it got so many views." Yeah. In the first week or weeks of it being released, yeah, a lot of people watched it. But since then, what was it? It came out in November of 2022, last year. How many people have watched it since December of 2022? It's July is the 7th month. In the past 8 months, how many people have actually watched it next Netflix? Probably not even a fraction of a percent of the people who watched it when it initially came out. And because of their elaborate stories, Ari Emanuel is now supposedly fed up with her and has canceled the contract. Well, it makes sense. I mean, right now, former nannies are now coming out and talking and spilling the beans, talking the truth about her. Some people who are friends with the Princess of Wales, Catherine, are releasing tidbits. Even the joke of them getting a Hollywood Critics Award is a joke. I mean, people look at some of these things as, yeah, what kind of award did it get? For the worst fictionalized limited series? It's their world is crashing down, and now rumors are out stating that the 4th of July photos that were released, it was all supposedly Rachel's doing, and Henry was so upset that he shut down his phone, took the SIM card, and literally went AWOL for 48 hours. He was so angry with her. I wonder what kind of bender he went on, and with whom and where at. But on the other note, we have noticed that Sarah, the Duchess of York, has been seen out walking the corgis. And she is now admitting that she isn't back to 100%, and she didn't realize how exhausting taking care of their doggies really is. Well, remember, she just had major surgery. She was in the intensive care unit for several days. She probably still hasn't had all her stitches removed yet. So the fact that she's outside and getting exercise is a great thing. But if someone can relay, Sarah, don't push yourself. If you start feeling tired, it's time to go back and lay down and pull a blanket over you. And with the good arm, with the remote control. Because even holding a book up with 2 hands can be extremely painful. I know from experience. Yeah, it is. It's very painful. And you're not even going to start feeling able to do everything. Minimum 3 months. It might even take a full year, depending on how extensive her surgery really truly is, that we're not being informed about. Excuse me. Now, one final thing. For it's now reached summer season, and Buckingham Palace is now open for tourists. People who want to go in and see all the coronation regalia From what I heard, it's 30 pounds per person. That might seem like a stiff ticket price, but folks, going to McDonald's now is 15 bucks, or at least about 10 to 15 pounds per person. So yeah, the palace is now open for visitors, for paid visitors. And remember that your admission fee is put towards the restoration of that historic building. So technically, I think you could save your receipt, and it might be classified as a charitable donation. So save your receipts, people, because the money goes towards the restoration of the building. It's a donation to the Royal Heritage Fund. So double check on that, but I think it is. I think you do. So everyone, it's Friday. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful Saturday. I'll have a video out for you on Sunday. Bye-bye.